Welcome back to the Independent Republican, Mike Graham, right here on TalkTV. We are here, of course, all the way through for you until 1 o'clock. We'll be talking to Hannah Hope from The Sun in a little while about what's going on at ITV. The ITV bosses have now been hauled before MPs. They're going to be appearing before a committee on Tuesday to answer how it is that ITV has spun so far out of control that there's now talk of secret slush funds, there's talk of people being paid off, people signing non-disclosure agreements, people being favoured while being also known to be bullying and harassing people. It's all an awfully big soap opera, and we'll be getting to grips with all of that in a moment. Also, we're going to talk to Claire Fox right now, Director of the Academy of Ideas, about AI, which could apparently wipe out humanity. But before we get to that, Claire, have you got any thoughts on the whole this morning debacle, the whole kind of public soap opera that's being played out before our very eyes?
Nothing that's not already been said. my only comment is not preoccupying me as much as some people. But I think the cover-up is always the deal, right?
It is, isn't it? Yeah.
I think there's just something at the moment where so many people, this includes myself, by the way, whether it's the lockdown period, whether it's just generally what's happening in politics, it feels as though people in the establishment feel that they can get away with things behind the backs of the public. Now, I don't want to know every intimate detail of how TV or radio stations are run. I'm not interested in how TalkTV's run. But when you feel as though you're being conned, and I think being gaslit, really, where they basically say to you, nothing to see here, go away, when there's kind of rumours, and then you kind of find out, well, there is actually.
Well, this is the thing. I mean, when you remember things like, Holly and Phil doing that ridiculous hug inside plastic, during COVID, which was quite an iconic image, if you remember it. And you think of what the sort of editorial process is to get to that point, and the message that they're giving out to an awful lot of people who might not really know any better, to be honest, and who might think that's what's going to be happening to you in the future. It's quite an interesting and dangerous sort of kettle of fish, really.
Well, when it comes to mainstream media, one of the things that's happened with programmes like This Morning and kind of daytime TV is a lot of people are quite cynical about the news, but they feel as though they've got a relationship with people like Holly and Phil of a kind of trusted friend, that they're somehow not biased, whereas actually, I mean, that in and of itself is a kind of manipulative angle to it, because people did feel, I think, like you just said, that they were empathetic, that they understood how people felt, and that plastic, that gruesome plastic sheeting outside the care home was one of the most disgusting things of the lockdown, but you couldn't criticise them because they were unimpeachable. Yes. Now, that's not quite true.
Yes, I think so. What are you making of all this AI stuff as well? I mean, front page of Daily Mail, AI could wipe out humanity. The threat as bad as nuclear war must be tackled. I mean, I find myself completely unmoved by these, calls for, Armageddon to kind of approach, and AI pioneers fear extinction. I mean, these are the geeks that invented it, and now they're saying they're a bit worried about what they've done.
Well, there's two aspects to it. I mean, one, we've just talked about lockdown. I mean, we've got to be careful about, when people start talking about existential threats, things wiping out humanity, because in my view, we've heard that rather a lot recently, haven't we? Because it was COVID, it's climate change, it's, anything that moves can be a threat. But of course, every new, by the way, technological breakthrough, from motor car to planes to modern medicine, can be a major threat. But the crisis that's being talked about, the scaremongering language, indicates that what's happened is we've lost faith actually in humanity to deal with the pros and cons of a situation. Of course, artificial intelligence is a real challenge. It's completely different. We're all looking at it and thinking, oh, wow, this could mean that every kid at school cheats. We'll never know deep fakes. Will we ever know who a real person is? But actually, we've created artificial intelligence.
Well, that's what worries me more about this than anything else, because normally speaking, all of those things you mentioned, aeroplanes, cars, machinery, that was all going to wipe out the workforce, and it was the Luddites, famously, who were the ones who were kind of standing in the way of change, saying, oh, we don't want that. That would be terrible. These people are the ones who invented it. So they're actually kind of trying to make us feel that what they've invented is even more important than they said it was.
Well, first of all, I mean, as you've indicated, exactly the point is, it's not all of the inventors, but I think that what they're saying is we don't trust you, the public, handle this well. We're the clever ones who invented it. But now that it's becoming popular, well, of course, that's a bit like the cinema, you know, or any of these things. It's like, you know, it's like reading, in fact. You know, it was fine when only a few people could do it, but as soon as the masses did it, oh my God, it's going to be a dangerous weapon. It's going to lead to the end of the world.
Yeah.
But it's also the case that I sat during a Lord's debate on the online safety bill, which is a great, if you want an existential threat, that's it, because it's going to really have a big impact on free speech. And they were talking about artificial intelligence in one of the amendments. And I was just, I had a speech prepared all about saying we need balance and we have to remember the positive sides and not be negative. And before I got to speak, there was about 10 contributions that described in graphic detail the uses of AI when it came to pornography,
right,
and the deep fake use of pornographic images and avatars and so on, in relation to children. And I thought, what a grim use of imagination and curiosity, that the only thing that you've come up with is this terrible use of AI. Well, everything can be used terribly, but I wanted to counter that and still want to counter it with that brilliant story of the man who has been paralyzed and through the use of artificial intelligence can now walk just by thinking about it because of artificial intelligence. We've got to see that this is a tool and how we use it is up to us. But to make it seem as though it's kind of out there beyond our control, as I say, has a dim view of human beings, and I don't share that dim view.
No,
we have to make sure it's a good thing.
Yeah, I think so, and I think we ought to be more sort of confident in our own ability to change and to adapt and to deal with it, and I think you're absolutely right. Claire, great to see you. Thank you very much indeed. Claire Fox, Director of the Academy of Ideas, author, of course, as well. I Find That Offensive is the book, and you can find her in the House of Lords. Sometimes being offensive, sometimes not. This is the way we are. This is Talk TV. I'm Mike Graham.